Good morning and welcome to another Mocha Money Monday. I'm Ashley Scott, and today I have the pleasure of being able to introduce you to not someone who is just a love doctor, but someone who's making a major impact on the community in such a major way that she's been named a White House presidential award nominee awardee. So this is not just any old day here at Mocha Money Monday. We have Dr. Benita Ledet, known as the Love Doctor. Welcome to Mocha Money Mondays, Dr. Ledet. And I'm just going to go and call you Dr. Love.
That's right. Well, thank you for having me. Thank you.
Now, you're a certified Christian life coach, an international public speaker, a relationship expert, the brand owner of one of my favorite wines, A Taste of Love, and that is an award-winning wine. How did your brilliant mind create this pathway for business around this very purpose-driven work around self-care, self-love, and healing people's hearts?
Well, so it all began really in corporate America. I've been in corporate America for over 30 years. And so I was like the executive assistant to the CEO and the team. So at any given time, I was always taking care of like a group of 15 or 20 people that was in the financial, because I worked at a Fortune 500 bank financial institution. And I was the one who like put the events together and sent out the emails and make them do right. And so I was kind of like mother a little bit. And they did, sometimes they did call me mother. But what happens is when you're on the team like that and you're the glue that's holding the team together, a lot of people start to come to you. You start to develop relationships, and you start to be people's confidant, and people start to trust you and all of those things. So how it all started is people would come to me and ask me for advice. And I'd be like, okay. And I'd be like, okay. And I'd give them the advice. And they'd be like, you know what you told me? It sure did work. Girl, you got something. You got a gift. So I didn't think nothing of it because I've been doing this all my life. It was my gift. I never knew. I mean, I've been doing this since like I was in middle school. I would always give people advice. Like that was just my gift. But it was after I really discovered who I am and what I'm supposed to be doing, that's when it all came to life. Because after so long being in corporate America, you just start to get burnt out and you feel like I have a greater calling on my life, and I wanted to figure out what that was, and I wanted to walk into it and become it. And that's how it all started. So then when I started helping people heal, I was like, okay, God, how can I help these people heal? Like, a lot of people don't like to talk to therapists, they don't like to talk to counselors, all of that, right? So I started asking God one by one, how can I help these people heal? And then he started saying, put it all together, put it together. Like he started telling me one by one what to do. He said, put it in a box. I was like, God, a box? What I'm gonna give these people? I said, they need love. I'm going back and forth with God. When you had them conversations with God, I'm like, but that ain't gonna work. These people ain't gonna want that. And he was like, no, it's love. Let's name it Love in a Box. And so I had a good friend of mine, and I thank God for him to this day. Like we're still really good friends. He helped me put it together. His name is John Nichols. Shout out to John Nichols. We put it together, design. He helped me self-publish the book, The Self-Love Journal, which is the main part of the Love in a Box. And so we began to just help people see their value, help them rediscover love within themselves and their self-worth and their self-actualization and all of that. And so when people caught on to what the Love in a Box is and what I do, because at first when it came out, it was like, what? Like it didn't make sense. And so when they started to see that I was helping people heal their hearts, that's when they started calling me the heart healer and the love. It was like, you like a doctor, you like a love doctor. And I was like, okay, well, I kind of like that. So then I kind of ran with it, and, and the rest is history. But that's how it started. It started in corporate America.
That's exciting. a lot of people don't always know how to transition out of corporate America and the terranera gifts into a real life profitable business. So I'd like to understand what was some of the things that you did to really create this full on multiple verticals like the Dove Doctor. Like you said, you have the books, you've got the box, you've got the wine, you do the speaking. So how did you really create this roadmap for yourself? Did you have mentors? Did you take courses? Did you go to an accelerator? What was your pathway to really building this beautiful business that you have?
Well, so what I did as I became the love doctor and as I started networking with a lot of women, that's when they started discovering who I was. So then they started asking me to come on their platform and speak at their engagements. And then two of the books I'm co-authors with like I think like 20, 30 other women. So then we develop relationships, you see. So it's like all of the things that it was all in alignment that God had for me. It's like every project or everything I did, I developed a relationship and then it turned into the next thing and then the next thing and then the next thing. And then that's how we got to the wine, later. But it just went like boom, 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 boom. So, some days I look back at it, I'm like, I don't even know how it happened, but it's
Mm.
all aligned by God. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was organic and natural and authentic to who you are. You were just being yourself, is what it sounds like to me. You were just being the nurturing, loving heart healer that you were. And then you started putting the pieces together with other people through collaboration, is what I'm hearing, right? So let's talk a little bit more about collaborations. What are some of the things that you have found work well for you in your business when it comes? I know you're a partner with us here at the Phenomenal Hues Network, a part of our global network. You've been a part of many of our events, and I love your products. And I was able to get exposed to just you as an individual and what you have to offer by doing these events. I'd love if you'd share with your audience how these kinds of collaborations manifest and the value you find in them.
So with anything that I do, I always make sure that I can bring love to the equation, period. Like, love is my passion, that's who I am. And I just feel like with every event or every situation, you're going to need love. Because, say, for instance, like, let's just say if you are a model, right? A model. Well, you got to love what you do. If you just a model without the title love, if you don't love what you do, then you're just a model doing something. You see what I
Mhm.
mean? So if I feel like any and everything that I'm involved with, it has to have love in it. If it doesn't have love in it, then I'm just doing stuff, just so, that's what I feel like. And I feel like everybody that I connect with and I align with, it has to be like, it's almost like I have to get the okay from God. Like, it has to feel right. The energy has to be right. The alignment has to be right. Now, I can tell you, I have aligned with some people that it was not right. I can tell you that because they were fast talkers and really didn't mean me no good and all of that, right? But because that heart that I had, I tried to see the best in them, but it didn't take long to figure out that they wouldn't, yeah, that they wasn't supposed to be there or be in alignment with me. So I distanced myself from them. But when you have this kind of heart, you have to really, really guard it. But then you also just let God guide you the whole way through, and He'll show you. He'll show you who's right
Mhm.
and who's not, and you'll just keep moving right along into your purpose.
That's good advice. To definitely, there's a spiritual aspect to all business,
Yeah.
period. Like the transaction does not happen without the spiritual aspect. So what I do want to talk about is more of the challenges, right? Because I know this has not just been no crystal stair. You've already shared that you have come against some people who didn't mean you no good in partnership. So what are some of those challenges that you face? But more importantly, how have you overcome the challenges when they come up in your business and in your entrepreneurial journey?
So when I was faced with plenty challenges, because trust me, I was. what I do, and I would give this advice to anybody: sit in it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like whatever it is, whether it's a mistake that you made, somebody you trusted, or whatever the case is, just sit in it and learn your lesson from it. Once you learn your lesson from it, that helps you grow. And you will never ever make that mistake again. And you'll be looking for that red flag again from, like moving forward. You'll be looking to say, okay, now I see you. I see you a mile away. Nope. Your gut, your intuition, your discernment, all of that will tell you once you get burnt the wrong way. And so you know, how I overcame it, like I said, is I sat in it, I learned my lesson, I forgave them, and I moved on. And that's why I'm so blessed, because I don't hold grudges. I don't hold grudges. I forgive and I move on, because what you have to understand is that when you know whose you are, when you know that you're God's child, He only wants the best for you. He only wants the best for you. And so anybody that's coming to do you harm, or not for you, He's going to remove them from you anyway. He's going to remove them
Absolutely.
from you anyway. Yeah. So you have to keep moving forward, and you can't let it get you down. You can't stay stuck in it. Now, I said I sat in it because you got to know what you got to learn that lesson from it. You got to learn that lesson. But I sat in it. And I'm going to tell you, honey, once I get down, child, I'll be down, honey. I'll be, somebody that called me, they'll be like, you all right? No. Yeah, no, I'm not okay. I'm gonna give up. To hell with this. Like, I'm just, I'm just being real with it. Like, I mean, I want to give up so many times, but
Mhm.
every time I got ready to give up, like, God would let somebody call me and say, you know what? I want to know if you'd speak, and I'm willing to, pay this or whatever. Like it was something, like another door was opening to say, no, keep going. Because I'm telling you, when I pout because I just be so hurt, because because I feel like how do people like that? You know what I mean? Like I
Mhm.
can't do nobody wrong and sleep good. Like I just can't. And so I feel like, how do people literally do this and just go to sleep and just, but it's okay though, because it's growing pains is what it
Mhm.
is. It's growing pains. But that's when you know that you are growing, and that's how you know you're expanding, because you're going to new levels. And every time you go to new levels, you got new devils in the
Mhm.
levels. But you got to stay focused, and you got to have God. You got to pray every single day. You have to ask the angels to protect you, and show you who your snakes is around you, all of that. And you just keep moving forward. That's how you overcome your challenges. And you also want to have people around you that's like-minded. If you're
Mhm.
around somebody and they just keep withdrawing, that ain't your person. It's got to be a
Mhm.
person where you're depositing in each other. The like for, for the last, like, I'm 53 right now. For the last 4 or 5 years, my prayer and my motto has always been, I want beneficial, mutual relationships. If we're not benefiting each other, we don't, hey, go on about your business, because I know that I'm valued to people. I know that. And I know when somebody comes to me and say, hey, Benita, can you do this? Man, I put my all into it. I help and everything. But now, if I come to you and you brush me off, and I know that I just took time to decide, and like, oh, okay, I'm not going to say nothing. I'm just going to just, okay, I see you, and I'm going to just move right along. It ain't even worth bringing it up, none of that, because you just showed me who you are. And they
Mhm.
always say, once somebody show you who they are the first time, believe it.
That's
Believe it.
it.
Believe it. Yeah.
I agree with that. Now,
Yeah.
I want to dive a little deeper with you, Dr. Love, around how women and entrepreneurs, especially, because let's just face it, when you are running a business and you are in that thing and you
Mhm.
only focus on the business, and don't, God forbid, you be a mother and a wife, and now you got to also make sure the kids are okay, make sure the husband's happy, and still build that business like a baby that has to be fed, has to be nurtured, got to change the diapers. You got to be in that thing when you really are building a business, something
Mhm.
that is in demand and something that people have a certain kind of expectations around. when you don't take time for yourself, you can lose yourself. And even if you're not running a business, maybe you have aspirations to do more, to leave corporate America and to finally go after that thing. You talked about self actualization and using your journals as a method for realizing who you are, what you want, and how to go forward in your life. I'd like for you to give a few tips, a few tools, maybe a few steps for
Mhm.
how we can practice that self-care and that self-love as entrepreneurs or as aspiring entrepreneurs, people wanting to get out the rat race, because self-worth is
Mhm.
directly linked to your net profit at the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned.
That's right. Yeah, your self-worth is your network. It really is, because it's how you see yourself and how you value yourself. The advice that I would give people, the very first thing that I would do, and I'm very guilty of it, especially with the wine brand expanding the way it is and growing real fast. I literally just told myself that I got to do better in exercising and getting back right, because I've gained a couple of pounds and I don't like that. Like, I like to keep myself in shape. And so just recently, within the last 2 weeks, I've cut back, I'm back walking, all of that. But the advice that I would give to any entrepreneur, because I am that wife, I am that mother, I literally have not been to sleep. I literally have not. Yeah. So when you're all in like that and you're, trying to take care of the family, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna give you a good example. Now this don't happen all the time, but this is what happened because the last couple of days have been very busy. So when I
Mhm.
realized around 2:30, 3 o'clock that I wouldn't go get no sleep, I say, you know what? I'm gonna make this work for me. So I literally went in the kitchen, seasoned up some roast. I said, okay, I'm gonna make this work for me. I'm gonna let this roast cook while I'm finishing up my emails and this other stuff that I got going on. So that way, by the time I get through with that, the food gonna be ready. I'm gonna put on some lipstick. I'm gonna be ready for you. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm
Yeah.
saying is, when you find yourself overwhelmed, learn how to flip it and make it work for you. So when I finally get me some sleep today and late, I'm gonna give me a couple hours of sleep, nap or whatever, and then after that, I'll crash tonight. But the point is when you're passionate about something and you want to see things come to fruition, you got to put your all into it. So my advice for people that's juggling your schedule, mother, wife, business owner, all of that, please put yourself on your schedule. That's the
Okay.
number one thing. Put yourself on the schedule. Like, for instance, I don't care if it's every day at 2 o'clock, to where you go out and you just breathe and get a breath of fresh air. Just, at 2 o'clock, if that's your thing to do it, or just get up and walk around. If you the kind of, have to sit at the desk, or, you working from home and people working your nerves or
Mhm.
whatever. Put yourself on your schedule for you. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's meditating, but you got to take that time for you. Whatever you need to do for that hour, 30 minutes, whatever, put yourself on a schedule. That's the first thing. Second thing, Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision, make it plain.
Yes, it does.
Whatever you want to do, write the vision out. And I'm going to share this. This is a tech. I just shared this with my podcast ladies last night. And I'm going to share this with your listening audience because it really works. I've done it and it works. So, you know how you get a poster board, right? But not the big one, the the
Mhm.
the half one of the big one, right? Well, you draw it into four squares, right? Okay, so right now is the perfect time to do that because we're finishing up the first quarter, right? So in the second square, you're gonna say second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter in the squares, right? So in the second quarter, whatever you want to see yourself do, write it in there. Write it in there, put a picture in there, whatever you want to do. Like, don't put a lot of stuff in there. Put something like maybe one or two things that you really want to do. And then from there, you write down your steps as to how you're going to achieve those goals. So by the time the 90 days is up from that quarter, you can look back and say, man, I did that because you stuck to it and you were true to yourself. That was some self love for yourself because that's something that you wanted to do. So, yeah. And so then from there, whatever that thing is, you write, like you put it, like maybe get like a sticky, or it could be a 8.5 by 11, whatever. Put it in your mirror. Put it on your mirror. Tape it, because when you get up to brush your teeth, you got to see it. So when you
Yeah.
see it, speak it out. You got to speak things into existence. So speak it out. Like for instance, let's just say like me. I know that I want to drop, 10 or 15 pounds, and I got to write affirmations. I am loved. I am 10 pounds smaller. Whatever I need to write to do it, but then I also have to put in the work to do it. But that's
That's
my
right.
goal. But that's my goal for the second quarter. Yeah.
Mhm. These are some really good tips and strategies, Dr. Love. I want to know, what would you give as advice for someone who's ready to expand their business? Like, I love that you went from glory to glory, right? You was like, I started giving advice in my office at the job. Then
Mhm.
I wrote a book. I've done been in other people's books. And now I got my wine. How did you scale and how did you plan? And I know you did say that, it was organic, it just kind of lined up and God made it happen. But based off of what you just shared around your steps, it's clear that you had some major influence around laying out some goals, putting down some steps, and then actually executing those steps in order to make it happen. It didn't just manifest and one day you just had a wine brand.
No,
So,
that
like,
don't.
let's talk practically a little bit about what some of the steps are to really scale and grow this business the way you have in these different verticals.
So again, I go back to the basics. Like I every what I my biggest prayer with God is make sure I'm in alignment with your will, not my will be done, but yours. So as long as I know I'm in alignment, then I know I'm doing the right thing. The minute
Mhm,
you step out of alignment, everything falls out of place.
mhm,
So as far as scaling up, I would say always make sure that you have someone you can call on, like a mentor. Not a mentor like, because you're not gonna, because see, the thing with me, when I got into wine, I didn't know anything about it, anything
mm.
about it. Now that did just happen for real. Like it was, I guess it was supposed to happen because of what's happening right now. But that literally did fall in my lap. It really did. I
Okay,
mean, that's a story behind the wine. Yes, it is.
okay.
But yeah, but still, even after the wine dropped in my lap, and when I realized that it was an alignment, then I begin to ask God, okay, is this really what you want me to do? Okay, well, if this wants you, then how do you want me to do it? You know what I mean? Like I just kept asking for steps along the way. So what I'm saying for scaling up, make sure that you are around like-minded people. That's probably the best advice I can give. And you know what else? Now this is some good advice. Make sure that you're around people that has more than you.
Mm,
You know what I
mhm.
mean? If they have more than you, then that's good because they can grow you up to them. You know what I mean? You don't never want to be the smartest one in the room. You don't never want to be the one that know it all. None of that. I like being a student. I like learning. And so I've always allowed myself to be around people that I can learn from. And then from there, then I can, whatever I learned, then I can pass it to the next person or the next sister.
Okay, Dr. Love. Now, what final little words of advice would you like to give the audience before we get out of here? Just your nugget for them to feel like I got this bankable business that I'm going to build, and I'm going to make sure as I build it, I do it with love. What do you want to tell the business women who are listening in and tuning in today?
I want to say follow your heart, follow your gut instinct. If God is trying to nudge on you and tell you something, listen to that quiet voice. Never ignore that quiet voice and pray for favor, because favor is worth more than money. Because if you get favor with the right person and get in the right doors, the money will follow. So favor is worth more than money. Follow the favor, and the money will follow the favor. That's my.
All right.
Yeah.
I love that. What's next for Dr. Benita Ledet and the Love Doctor brand?
Girl, listen. Now you talk about no sleep. I'm actually getting ready to go on tour to the 14 different stores of Total Wine that I'm in the Texas market from Houston to El Paso, Texas. And they are scheduled, I'm scheduled for tour for April and May. And I got to hit all 14 stores to promote because in some areas they don't know who Dr. Love is. They don't know who the wine is. So I have to promote in order to let the people know who the wine is. So that's what's next. And that's what I can think of off the top of my head. I got a lot of things going, but that's the main thing that's in my head. And then got a little something that I'm working on for the fall that I can't really announce yet, but definitely it's in the works. And when that happens, that's when I need you and Danetta and all of them to come to Houston.
All right. Now let me
Yeah,
ask you this question. Can I still get Love in a Box? Is that available?
absolutely it is. Absolutely. Yes, it is.
How do we get in touch or how do we get the Love in a Box products from you?
So the Love in a Box is my service side. And so you can get it from auniqueheart.com. That's A like the letter A, unique, like you're unique, heart.com. That's how you order the Love in a Box. And then as far as the wine, you can get it from a taste of love.love. And of course, when you go on the website, you'll see all the locations. I think I'm in over I don't know, maybe 25, 26 locations. And there's probably like five of them there in Atlanta, some in
Okay.
Louisiana, and then the 14 Total Wines, and then some restaurants and cigar lounges.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Dr. Ledet. Thank you for being here with us. You all have had the pleasure of of hearing from the Love Doctor today, and we always want to be grateful for the platform, the Phenomenal Hues Global Network. Visit phenomenalhues.com. Be a part of our growing community with people like Dr. Love, so that you can engage, connect, collaborate. Join us at our events here in Atlanta, and we'll be in Houston soon, apparently. So you make
Yeah.
sure that you stay connected with us. Every Monday, we are here providing you all with some content that will hopefully help you to become more prosperous, that will expand your mind and expand your bottom line with revenues, because we're building bankable businesses here, or part of the Phenomenal Hues Global Network. And then we want to also shout out Welson's Financial Group and our p3.com, where you can get the virtual assistance you need, where you can get the financial loans that you need, whatever you need, capital connections, community, we have it. So visit phenomenalhues.com and make sure you check out the Love Doctor and get a taste of love at a tasteoflove.love, or get a Love in a Box at a uniqueheart.com. So thanks again for tuning in. Thank you again, Dr. Love, for being my guest today. And we'll see you next week on Mocha Money Mondays.
All right. Have a good day.